Now let us continue with our part number 3 for the chapter The Happy Prince, written by Oscar Wilde. Now, as we have seen before, that the swallow was not ready to stay with the Happy Prince statue and was about to leave to Egypt as his friends were waiting there. But the Happy Prince was requesting him, convincing him, and trying to make him stay there for one more day. And he was requesting him to continue to be his messenger so that he could help the needy people in his town. Now let us continue with page number 33. Let us have a loud reading of the chapter of these pages. Now, and she is crying. She has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare. Now, as we were discussing about the little match girl whose matchsticks were fallen down into the gutter, and she was very scared because she was thinking if she could not carry a single penny at home, definitely her father is not going to permit her to enter the house, right? And so she has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. I'll stay with you one night longer, said the swallow, but I cannot pluck out your eye. You would be quite blind then. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince. Do as I command you. So he plucked out the prince's other eye and darted down with it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. What a lovely bit of glass, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said, so I will stay with you always. No, little swallow, said the poor prince. You must go away to Egypt. No, I will stay with you always, said the swallow, and he slept at the prince's feet. All the next day he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in strange lands. Dear little swallow, said the prince, you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of the men and women. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there. So the swallow flew over the city and saw the rich making merry in the beautiful houses, while the beggar was sitting at the gates. He flew into the dark lanes and saw the white faces of the starving children looking out listlessly at the black streets. Under the archway of a bridge, two little boys were lying in each other's arms to try and keep themselves warm. How hungry we are, they said. You must not lie, shouted the watchman, and they wandered out into the rain. Now, this happy prince commanded the swallow to pluck out the other eye and give it to the match girl. As she was crying, she was scared of her father that if she could not earn money and go home, definitely her father is not going to permit her to enter. Then Swallow said that I will stay with you one night longer, but definitely I'm not going to pluck your other eye, because if I do it, you will be blind. You will be quite blind. So the prince requested Swallow, do as I command you, and please pluck out the other eye. And he did so, and he darted down with it. He swooped past the match girl. Now, what did he do? As the prince ordered him that you have to pluck out my eye, and you have to go to the little girl and you have to help her. You have to give that sapphire, one of the sapphires which was in his eye, to the little girl, and he did so. And he ran from there and he went to the match girl to help the needy girl. Okay, then he swooped past. What did he do? He swooped past. Swooped past means what? Came ahead with a rush. Very fast he came in front of the girl and he slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. What a lovely bit of glass. Actually, the girl was not knowing the value of that the glass-like structure. She was feeling it as a piece of glass, but it was a sapphire, a costly sapphire, precious sapphire. And she said, "What a lovely bit of glass it is!" She cried. The little girl cried, and she ran home laughingly. And she ran home. She rushed her home with a joy. Then the swallow came back to the prince, and he returned there. And as the prince was blind now, so swallow decided that he will not be going for Egypt, be going to Egypt, and he will continue to stay with the prince because he could not see what exactly was the situation now in the town as he was blind. So he said that, "No, I will stay with you always," said the swallow, and he slept at the prince's feet. And for that night, again he slept near to the prince's feet. All the next day he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in the strange land. Now he was sitting on the shoulder of the prince so that he could observe the complete city, the scenario of the city, and could see what exactly the people are doing there and can report to the statue, to the prince. And he was telling the stories what exactly was going into the strange land. Strange land, why he is calling it as a strange land? Because for Swallow, that particular town was strange. Okay, now as he was the newcomer there. Now, "Dear little swallow," said the prince, "you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and women." So, the princess said that, "You are telling me all about the wonderful and astonishing stories, but there is the more marvelous stories are of the men and women. Rather marvelous, they are mysterious. Mystery means what? Mystery means some secret. It's secret like. Okay, they are full of mystery and misery. Misery means what? You all know. Misery means pain. So he's saying that the happy prince is saying that the story of men and women are full of mystery and misery. So the stories are full of secret and sadness. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there." So he said to Swallow, "You please fly over the city and you please see what exactly the scenario is, how the people are living there, what kind of sufferings the poor are, means what kind of, what the poor are suffering there, you please tell me." So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses. So what was the scene there? Swallow could see that all the rich people were making merry. They were enjoying in their beautiful houses, in their luxurious houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates, and the beggars were sitting at the doors of the rich people so that they could offer them something and they could feel their hunger. He flew into the dark lanes and saw the white faces of the starving children. So why white faces? Because they are starving, they are hungry. The faces are pale now, and that is the reason he could see the faces are white and starving, looking out listlessly. So they are looking listlessly. So they are looking out listlessly. Just a minute. Yes, listlessly at the black streets under the archway of a bridge. Two little boys were lying in each other's arm, and he could see that the starving faces are looking out listlessly, means they are looking out sadly, and under the archway. Archway means a curved, what we call in Hindi like kaman, right? So they were sitting under the archway of a bridge. Two little boys were lying in each other's arm, and two little boys were sitting under the bridge, and they were holding each other arms so that they could protect themselves from the severe cold and to keep themselves warm. To "How hungry we are," they said, and they both were discussing that how hungry we are. You must not lie here. Sorry, how hungry we are, they said. And this was a discussion between the two boys. And suddenly one of the watchmen comes there. And what did he do? "You must not lie here," shouted the watchman, and they wandered out into the rain. And the watchman shouted that you are not permitted to sit here. It's the restricted area for all the beggars and the needy people, poor people. So you please get up from here and leave the place. And they both went away into the rain. Then he flew back and told the prince what he had seen. "I am covered with fine gold," said the prince. "You must take it off, leaf by leaf, and give it to the poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy." See how nice the statement is. The living always think that gold can make them happy. Living means here we all, the alive people, because the happy prince, he's now a statue, he's no more alive now, right? So he is expressing his own feelings, what he felt when he was alive, he knows that the living people always think that gold will definitely make them happy. This is really a good this is really a very good statement he had made here. So he's saying that I am covered with fine gold, and he is asking, means his complete statue was covered with with the gold leaves. Okay, he was decorated with the gold leaves, and the things now whatever were left with him was just the leaves of gold which were covered on his body, on the statue. And he requested Swallow to pluck out the leaves one by one and help to the needy people, as the living always think that gold can make them happy, the gold can satisfy their needs. Okay, so leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off, till the happy prince looked quite dull and grey. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played in the street. We have bread now, they cried. So now, as it was requested, as it was said by the happy prince, that he should pluck out the uh, leaf one by one, and he should help the needy and the poor people, and so that they can be happy and can satisfy their needs. So he did the same, swallow did the same. Now the faces were rosier means what? Brighter. So now, as swallow had given them the leaf of gold, the faces of the poor people, the needy people, now they were rosier and they were happy. Fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played in the street. And they were very happy, enjoying and laughing in the street, that yes, now we have bread with us, because they were hungry. Now they were happy that they can sold the gold leaf and can get bread and butter to survive, to satisfy their hunger. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked as if they were made of silver. Everybody went about in furs, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on the ice. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking, and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. Now see, as Swallow was about to go to Egypt, but he cancelled his trip because as the prince was blind now and he could not see, and the Swallow decided now he will be permanent messenger of the happy prince. So he stayed there, but now the scene was different, the atmosphere changed. Now there was a severe cold which Swallow could not bear, but even then he was trying his best to make himself comfort in different ways by flapping his wings, and he was trying to keep himself warm by flapping his wings and collecting some breadcrumbs. Okay, so small pieces of bread, we can call it as, so breadcrumbs from the baker's door when the baker was not looking to the swallow. So then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked the street looked as if they were made of silver. Everybody went about in furs, and as now it was a frost, means everywhere there was snow, and the street were looking white like silver because of the snow. And everybody went about in furs. Everybody was into fur, means they were wearing warm clothes and staying in. Okay, they were kept indoors. And the little boy wore scarlet caps and skated on the ice. And the little boys were wearing scarlet colored cap to keep themselves warm, and they were skating on the ice. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking, and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. So he was collecting the breadcrumbs from the baker's door, and he was flapping his wings to keep himself warm. But at last he knew that he was going to die. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder. Once more, goodbye, dear prince, he murmured. Will you let me kiss your hand? So now it was too cold, and Swallow has come to know that his life is going to end. And that was that very few moments were left to be enjoyed. So what did he do? He was having very less energy. He was not having that too enough energy to fly up, but he could fly up only till the shoulder of the happy prince. He flied up to the prince's shoulder, once more said goodbye, and he said goodbye. And this goodbye was a permanent goodbye, right? So he was saying goodbye. He came there to say goodbye. Dear prince, he murmured, will you let me kiss your hand? And he requested, Prince, that may I kiss your hand. I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow, said the prince. You have stayed too longer here, but you must kiss me on my lips, for I love you. See what kind of attachment, what kind of love this two, a living being and a non-living being, is having within each other, between each other. So what he is saying that you must not kiss my hand, you must kiss my lips, as I love you a lot. So this was a bond. This was a bond created because of the sacrifice of the swallow. Okay, and what Happy Prince was thinking, he could not feel the winter, he could not feel the cold, he could not feel the severity of the cold, as he was a statue, and he was unaware that the goodbye was a permanent goodbye said by the swallow. So what did he do? He's saying that I'm glad that you're going to Egypt at last. So princess is feeling that this swallow is saying goodbye just to go to Egypt, but it was not the case. So it is not to go, it is not to Egypt that I'm going, said the swallow. I'm going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not? And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down, died at his feet. Oh my God. So he is saying, he is explaining him, dear prince, I am not going to Egypt. Now I am going to the house of death. I am going to sleep. You know, sleep is the brother of death. And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down dead at his feet. And he kissed prince's lips, and he fell down at his feet dead. So students, I hope you understood whatever the explanation was. And I hope that you understood the explanation, and we'll continue the rest of the explanation of the pages, page number 35, 34, 35 and 36 in the next video. Thank you all.